Good morning, or at least it's morning while I'm speaking to you right now. This is Dr. Brian Friedrich. I'm the medical director here at Divine Providence in Donguanella. I've been asked to do a follow-up. Hopefully some of you have seen a video that I did about a month and a half or so ago, a month ago, regarding the vaccine. And apparently there's still some concerns and questions and so forth. So I'm hoping to do a short follow-up just to maybe answer some of those concerns and to put a word out there that if people have a concern or a specific question and they feel like they would want to reach out to me, they can get the question to one of their supervisors who will get it to the powers that be, who will forward the question to me, and I'll be happy to address it. We're now about 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks into having the vaccine out in the United States. We're about a little over 2 months now, probably 10 weeks if you go back to England. A lot of the concerns that I've been hearing from people, and the first thing I want to stress is please don't get your news or your information from social media. Social media, there are so many falsities out there. There is so much information that's so not true, and it's scaring people, and people are taking it at its word, and it's just not true. Even some of the regular media, Fox News or CNN, which are the opposite extremes, are giving a lot of false pretexts out there. So the first thing I ask people to do, if you hear something and you're like, oh, is this really true or not? Fact check it. There's a website called Snopes.com, S-N-O-P-E-S. It's not favored by anybody. It's just they do fact check. They get information and they'll, if you ask it a question, it'll tell you, yes, this is true or no, it's not. So fact check these things. Some of the concerns that I've seen from people, certain people have said, well, President Biden got the Moderna shot, so the Moderna shot must be the best, and that's the one that they want to get. The Moderna shot and the Pfizer shot, which are the two that are out right now, the Johnson & Johnson shot will be added very shortly. The AstraZeneca shot will probably be added very shortly. But those two shots, if you look at the last video, are essentially the same. The difference between them is how they're stored. Pfizer's shot does not have a preservative in it, so it has to be kept super frozen. Moderna chose to put that in their shot so that it doesn't have to be kept quite as cold. That's the only difference. The side effects, if you look it up, the side effects, the headache, the body aches, the fever, the sore arm, are all roughly within 5 or 10% equally the same. So there's no safety benefit for the Moderna shot versus the Pfizer shot. Just as an aside right now, if you do get your shot through Divine Providence or Donguanella, we are using the Moderna shot right now. That may change down the road for whichever one is ultimately given out more, but that is the shot that we're giving. But it's not because it's safer, it's just because that's the one that initially got sent to us and you have to stick with that. You do have to get the booster, the second shot, of the same shot that you got. In other words, you can't get Pfizer as your first shot and Moderna as your second shot. You have to do both being the same. Other complaints or stories that I've heard, which just are flabbergasting to me, is that the shot's causing infertility. There is not one piece of evidence that shows any degree of infertility going back to the original trials, which started back in the end of April or May. Nothing. I challenge you to find a support on that. There's nothing there. The second complaint that I hear, which I find comical, is people say that the shot is changing their DNA. First, the shots are RNA shots. They don't have anything with DNA in them, and they can't do anything to your DNA. RNA is a different genetic material than DNA. And so an RNA vaccine does not change anything with your genetic makeup. I've heard of people posting on Instagram and Facebook that hundreds, if not thousands of people are dying from the vaccine and that there's a cover-up. Again, completely untrue. To my knowledge, as I'm sitting here on February the 10th, there has not been one confirmed death attributed to the vaccine. There have been some people who got the vaccine and for whatever reason died in some period of time after it, but it's been shown to be from other reasons: cardiac disease, lung disease, something like that. And a certain amount of people die every day, so it only stands to reason that somebody may die after the vaccine, even though it has nothing to do with the vaccine. So there's not any evidence, no data out there that shows any deaths related directly to the vaccines. There are some allergic reactions reported to it. The last that I read says it's about 1 in a million. Again, no deaths from that. People have gotten epinephrine or other medications and reversed the allergic reaction. But that reaction is extremely rare and not out of line with people having allergic reactions with other medications and other vaccines. So that's, to me, not a concern. I have so many of my own patients saying to me, well, I want to wait for the Johnson & Johnson shot because the Johnson & Johnson shot is only 1 dose. So there's a lot of interesting things about that. When the vaccine comes out, it will only be 1 dose. But it's very interesting if you look at the data and the trials for the Johnson & Johnson shot. The people who only got 1 vaccine in the J&J shot only had about a 67% response rate to the vaccine, meaning that 2/3 of the people won't get the virus, but 1/3 of the people will. If you look at Moderna and Pfizer, it's over 90%, so less than 10% of the people will still get the virus if they've had the vaccine. So, that's potentially a concerning thing. Now, J&J does say that anybody who got the disease after they got the vaccine, that none of them had a serious reaction. That means that they didn't end up in the ICU and no one has died. However, with Pfizer and Moderna, in the research that I did, no one's died who's gotten that shot either from the virus, even the few people who might have gotten it after they had it. And what's puzzling to me about the J&J shot is they did an arm where they did give 2 vaccines, a shot and a booster, just like Moderna and Pfizer are. Those people had a much higher response rate, well over the 80, 85, 87%, I think is what I read. So there are a lot of clinicians who believe that down the road, J&J is going to end up being a 2-shot vaccine. It's not right now, but there's a lot of people who believe that it's going to be. So those people who think they're going to hold out and just wait to get the J&J shot, they may end up getting 2 shots anyway. I suspect they will. In addition, you're not really going to be able to pick which vaccine you want. You're going to register somewhere, you're going to get into wherever it is that you get called to get your shot, and you're going to get whatever shot that they're offering on that day. It's, some places will get J&J when it comes out. Some places will only have Pfizer. Some places only have Moderna. So I'm not sure how specific you're going to be able to be to get a chosen shot. I suspect that most of them, it's going to be wherever you end up, that's the shot that they're getting, so that there's no mix-up in making sure that the follow-up shots are the same dose. So again, I just wanted to give a short follow-up to say we have well over 2 months of clinical data now, well over 3 million people in the United States. I think they're at 8 million in England or something like that. No serious side effects. All the stuff that you're hearing about, that you're looking at on Instagram or Facebook or whatever people are on in today's time, fact check it. It's really not true. There just isn't things out there. If those things were happening, believe me, the government would be releasing it. You'd hear it from Dr. Fauci, you'd hear it from the CDC, you'd hear it from other countries. So I want to reassure people, I believe the vaccine is safe. For the African American community, less African Americans have been vaccinated, mostly by choice, some from demographics of getting the shot to that population. But again, side effects in that population, no different than side effects in any other population that are getting it. So think seriously about getting the vaccine. I'm strongly recommending it to the community that I take care of here and to my patients in my own practice. And hopefully in 6 or 8 months, we'll get enough people vaccinated that we'll be through this mess and everybody will be safe. Thank you.